cowboy's daughter, straight from the heart of Nebraska. My dad, grandpa, and great-grandpa were all in the cattle business. As kids, my dad would take us out on the open road with him. We'd jostle along through the dusty, bumpy pastures, get right up next to the cattle, and Dad would start the inevitable quiz. He'd say, "Which one is an Angus, a Hereford, a Longhorn? Would that steer make it to market?" Trivial Pursuit should really have a category for cattle facts. Dad and Grandpa also took many young men with them as they traveled those dusty roads. The key word is with them. They took the young cowboys with them to both round up the cattle and to strike a deal. They believed if those young men didn't get their boots dirty too, they weren't really learning the business. They rarely worked alone. Dad taught me some simple, usable steps to great mentoring. They still work for me today. I'll let him explain. This is my dad, Bob Bachman. You ready for your film debut, Dad?
I think so, but I'm not an actor, you know.
Well, I know you're a cattleman, but I know you'll do your best.
I sure try.
Okay. Dad, you've been in the cattle business your whole life. You've just got a superb reputation, and you've mentored so many guys, left such a legacy. Now that I've bragged on you a little bit, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about mentoring in your life?
Far away.
Dad, let's start by sharing how Grandpa mentored you.
Well, you know, Grandpa was always got his boots dirty. He has a real pro. He learned ranching and feeding of cattle and selling of cattle. And when the people heard the name Wilbur Bachman, it meant expert knowledge. He was always looked for ways to learn, and more so he could be a good teacher. He had that trusted handshake, which was very important.
Yeah. So how did Grandpa help you, Dad, develop your business skills?
Well, he let me watch what he did, and I was almost always with him. And I'd observed how he judged cattle, negotiated business deals. I remember one story of a guy who tried to cheat him. He watered his cattle before we weighed them, and which was not lawful really, because we were just weighing water. But he did make him accountable, and I watched how he handled so many sticky situations like this.
Oh, that poor seller. I can just see Grandpa giving him the look after he tried to cheat him like that. And that look, if you crossed Grandpa wrong, you didn't want that. Although, he never gave it to me. Never gave it to the grandkids. But anyway, Dad, tell me more about how he handed the business over to you.
Well, he would give me jobs that he thought I could handle, and one was showing the cattle in the ring, and then I'd go to the country and buy cattle, and what I did right, he would tell me, but what I did wrong, he also told me. But he was very patient with me, and he never made me feel like a yokel. No such.
Wait a minute, a yokel?
Yeah, that's.
What's a yokel?
Well, it's one that doesn't think very good. And there's no such thing as a dumb question.
He'd say that?
Yes.
I've got a question for you, Dad.
Okay.
What's the difference between a cow and a bull? Okay, see, there's a dumb question. I'm just messing with you.
That's okay.
So when did you really begin to come into your own and begin to teach others?
Well, when Grandpa gave me a ranch to manage, and he also made me a partner in the cattle auction, and now I was representing the business. And he trusted me to do this on my own, and it goes full circle. I took some young guys under my wing and gave them my counsel, and I traveled many miles with them.
Dad, I know that you spent a ton of time on those guys, and they owe a lot of their success in the cattle business to you.
You know, it's a good feeling to pass the torch to someone else. Speaking of that, why didn't you come into the cattle business with me? I spent plenty of time with you.
Well, Dad, I ended up a corporate girl, not in the cattle world. But Dad, corporate world or not, or cattle business, you were still my favorite mentor. I took all the stuff that you and Grandpa showed me, and especially what you showed me, into the world now, and now my whole life and passion is about mentoring others, and it's a lot from what you taught me. So thank you for sharing, Dad, with me. It doesn't get any better than this. Okay, will you close us now by singing a few bars to a song I like?
Okay. I'm an old cowhand from the Rio Grande, and my legs aren't bowed and my cheeks aren't tan. I'm a cowboy who never saw a cow, never roped a steer 'cause I don't know how. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay, yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay.
What a dad won't do for his daughter.